everyone, my name is Chloe and today I'm here to do my April in and out. So if you have not seen one of these videos, this is a video in which I tell you everything that I'm hauling for the month and everything I'm unhauling. We also talk about my goal of reducing my physical TBR. I think at the beginning of the year I said I wanted it to be 100 less by December 31st than it was January 1st, and here we are mid-year and I am not doing good at that. However, this month, I'm taking 12 off of my shelf and putting 11 back on. So I'm down one. So that's great. So that 12 is 10 that I read off my shelves, 2 that I'm unhauling without reading. But you'll only see 8 here because there's a couple that I'm keeping that I read off my shelf. So I hope that isn't too confusing. Let's just get into the unhaul. So the first 2 that I'm unhauling are ones that I have not read. So actually, that's not true. I did read this one. This is Lisa Jackson's Sweet Revenge. This is 2 different stories, One Man's Love and With No Regrets. And this is one, first of all, I do not like these mass market bind-ups. I just don't. I don't know. Mass market is not my favorite way to read anyway. And then when it's a bind-up, I just feel like it's so unnecessarily thick, and what if I only want to read one and not the other? I don't know, but I bought this or got this somewhere and I was looking at it and I was like, I think I've read both of these stories, and I have. So I've read them both, gave them both 3 stars, so I'm going to unhaul this one. I don't remember anything about it because it's been years and years and years, but if it was 3 stars back then, I was a way more generous rater then, so I'm going to go ahead and say I'm not going to care to read this again. The other one that I'm unhauling without reading is The Roommate by Rosie Danan. And this one I have heard is just so sexy, so smutty and stuff that you guys know I don't like a lot of smut anyway. And I just think this one will probably be too much for me and I'm not going to enjoy it as much as somebody else would. So I'm going to let this one go. These other ones I have all read. So the first one is The Year of Fog by Michelle Richmond, and I read this and did not mind it. I actually thought it was a little bit better than I expected. However, it's not something I'll read again because this is a thriller about a woman who, her about-to-be stepdaughter and she are at the beach in San Francisco. It's super foggy. The little girl goes missing. The cops are all saying she drowned. This is a really rough area for that kind of thing. She drowned. And the mom is like, no, she didn't. And so she spends a year searching for this little girl. And the ending is really convenient. The plot line is very slow, and our main character is a photographer, and so there's a lot of metaphorical talk, which was good. It made me think about things, but the plot was very slow. So not a bad book, just probably not going to read it again. Next is A Princess for Christmas by Jenny Holiday. This one I read. I thought it was all right. Wasn't very original. I got Major Princess Diaries vibes, but in not as great of a way, so I'm going to let this one go. Next is She Is Me by Kathleen Shine. And this one I read. This is one of the lowest rated books, or it was the lowest, I think, rated book on my shelf. And I read it and I actually didn't mind it. It is 3 generations of women and all have different things going on. There's a lot of talk of cancer and sickness. So if that is a trigger, definitely steer clear of this one. This one was not as bad as I expected. It's not terrible, but I probably won't read it again. So this one is going to go to the little free library. Next is this little short compilation called Celebrate Mom, Heartwarming Stories, Inspirational Sayings, and Loving Expressions for a Special Mother. So this was a gift for me from a long time ago from I don't know who, but this is all, it is a Christian book about motherhood, and it's got little stories, verses, poems, all that kind of stuff. It was a fun little quick read, but not something I'll read again. Then we've got A Good Marriage by Kimberly Mcrate. This is one where this woman, she's a lawyer, and she gets a call from one of her old classmates saying, hey, I'm in jail. I'm going to be accused of killing my wife. Will you defend me? And she's like, no, I'm not a homicide defense lawyer. No. And he wants her to be the lawyer. So it is her doing that. We get glimpses of the past when his wife was alive, and I really wanted more of that. Otherwise, this is a very legal heavy thriller, and I just wasn't a big fan of it. And then the last one that I'm unhauling is The Broken Girls by Simone St. James. So I read this one and just didn't really like it, you guys. I mean, it was okay. This is about Idlewild Hall, which is what you see here, and there is some stuff going on. This is a boarding school that was open years and years ago, and while it was open, there was somebody who came up dead. Then years later, our main character's sister was found dead outside of Unhaul. Now they are planning to reopen it, and so she goes and wants to like reopen the case of her sister's death. And the two stories, I really wanted them to connect in a super cool way, and they really don't. They just share this setting. There's also a paranormal element that felt just like there for the creep factor, and it didn't really add a whole lot to the story. So I have heard that you either really like this one or you like the Sundown Motel, so I need to try that and see if I like it better, but this one was just okay for me. So that is all of the unhauls. Now let's get into the hauls. So I'm hauling 12 books, but I have read one of them, and I only bought one of them. So that is really, really great. I feel good. And the one that I bought is People You Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This was my book of the month pick, and I liked Beach Read. I didn't love it as much as everyone else did, but I liked it. And this premise just sounds so good. So this is about two friends who live in different spots in the country, but every year they meet up on vacation, and until something happens that like tears them apart. And so now I think they're maybe coming back together. They haven't spoken in a couple years, and it's their story. Sounds cute. I liked the writing style of Beach Read. It was just not the best book I've ever read. It was good, not great. So I'm really excited to give this one a shot. The next two are books that I was gifted from my mother. So she gave me Trophy Life by Leah Geller. And this one just feels kind of like women's fiction at its finest. So this woman is like a trophy wife, and then her husband disappears. And so she is left with this little baby, I think, and she's just kind of trying to figure out life. And I really like these like domestic women's fictions. I know they're not for everybody, but to me it sounds fun, entertaining. I think it's funny. So I'm excited to give it a shot. Next is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover, and I just love Colleen Hoover. I love her. I don't know a whole lot about this book, but I'm excited to try it. So those two are from my mom. So Mom, if you're watching, thank you. The next, let's see, 7 are from a sweet, sweet subscriber, Anita. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. She sent me a picture and said, hey, I'm unhauling all these. It's either you or the Goodwill, so do you want any of them? And so the first one I did not ask for. She popped it in after seeing my TGI Friend Day with Sophie from All Things Equilateral, and I'm so nervous about this, but kind of excited. The House of the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. So this one is totally out of my wheelhouse. Sophie was talking about it, saying she did not like it. She's like one of the only people in the world who did not like it. But she was saying that people are loving it because of the way it makes them feel. And I love these like kind of ones that just make you feel cozy. And so I'm really hoping that's what this is. This is about a man, I think, who goes and goes into this like boarding house or something for a bunch of children who have magical powers. Like it says a gnome and that kind of stuff. I don't know. So fantasy, I think it's adult fantasy though. You guys, I don't know. This is super nerve-wracking, but everybody seems to love it with the exception of Sophie. So I'm excited to just give it my 2 cents. I think I have it on, like, I think I can find it on audio, so maybe that'll, like, get me into it if I'm not loving it. But, Anita, thank you for pushing me outside of my box. I'm excited to try this. The next one is one that I've been super excited about. So it is the Star-Crossed Sisters of Tuscany. So this family, there is some sort of curse, and the second-born children never find love. And so I think it's 3 second-born girls going to prove this wrong, that they can find love. So just sounds so great. And the setting of Tuscany sounds luxurious. I cannot wait to try this. This next one, I didn't know that it glowed in the dark. And so I told Anita that I was going to try to show that on camera. And I cannot get it dark enough in here to do that. Like, I just can't make it work. But it's still so cool. So it's Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. I don't know why I never like thought, I bet this glows in the dark, but I've just never seen it in person. So Home Before Dark, this is about a thriller about this girl. Her dad and her family moved into this house, and her dad said, like, they left in the middle of the night. Her dad said it was haunted, or something weird happened. And so he wrote this book about it. And now years later, she's like, was that true? Was that not? So she goes back to the house. So I've heard good things, and I'm nervous, but really excited about this one. I have never read a Riley Sager, which is shocking to me because he's so like popular, and I love thrillers, and I think he kind of toes the line between thriller and horror, and you guys know I'm kind of a baby, so is this one going to scare me? Somebody let me know. The next one is My Dark Vanessa. And this one I'm really excited about. So this is about a student-teacher relationship and just the abuse of the teacher to the student. And I have heard this one is very, very, very heavy, and I am excited. Like, excited is not the right word. I am really intrigued to find out this story and see. I feel like this book is very divisive. People either love it or it's just too much. And so I'm really excited to see where I fall on that. Next is Free Fall by Jessica Barry. This one is also kind of hard to show on camera, but she is a young woman who is running from her past, from some secrets, but also from somebody who is stalking her. So I think the book is told from her perspective as well as her mother's, who, like, now her daughter is missing because she's on the run. And so I think it's them both trying to, like, discover safety and each other. And I don't know, this one sounds stressful, but in a good way. Next is The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. So this is the one that I have read. This is a Jane Eyre retelling about this girl who goes and she becomes a dog walker in this like really affluent neighborhood and has a relationship with a guy. And I won't say any more, but this one I enjoyed, so I wanted to have a copy for my shelves. Next is one that I'm really excited about. This is The Push by Ashley Audrain, and this one sounds so intriguing. So first of all, I love stories about like motherhood and mothers and daughters and that kind of stuff. But in this one, she has a baby and she's like, something is wrong with this child. Like, she's not connecting. Things feel weird. Her husband is like, no, you're crazy. Then they have a second kid and she doesn't feel that way about the second kid. Like, she feels like that is normal and her connection to that kid is normal. And so I don't really know what's going on here, but it's a thriller and it's blurbed by Lisa Jewell, Kristen Hanna, Amy Malloy. I've heard a lot about this, so I can't wait to read it. Then those are all from Anita. So Anita, again, thank you so much. The last two are ones that I was given from the publishers. So thank you to Forever for sending me these. So the first one is Coming Home to Seashell Harbor. And this one I'm actually reading right now. This is the first in a new small town romance series. This girl had like an epic breakup and now she's back in her hometown, and kind of the one who got away, but the one who like broke her heart is there. So it's going to be a second chance romance. I think he is an ex-football star who had a terrible injury, and now he's back in town, and her grandmother owns like a pet, I think it's like a doggy daycare type place, like a pet hotel kind of thing. And the grandma is going to sell it to this guy to be a restaurant. And our main character really wants to make sure that doesn't happen. So it's their second chance romance. It's cute. It's got pets. It's got food. It's got a lot of different things. I'm really enjoying it so far. Then the very last one is Rosaline Palmer Takes the Cake by Alexis Hall. So this one is, I think, about a single mom who enters like this national baking show competition, and I love those shows. Truthfully, I used to watch those shows constantly, and then the nausea with my second daughter, I was like, do not turn on Food Network. I cannot deal with that. And so now I have to like sprinkle them in, because even like I watched it so much before pregnancy and like right at the beginning that even now I'm like, ugh. But I love those shows. I really do. And so I'm hoping reading about it will be so fun. I have not read Alexis's first book, or anything else. I don't know if this is just the second or not, but I am excited. This one sounds like my cup of tea. So that is everything for April. If you have read any of these books, let me know what you think of this whole stack. You guys can't see, it's all in my lap, but which one should I prioritize? Are there any that you have loved? And that is it. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. We'll talk to you in the next one.